If you are dissatisfied with your current career or industry, maybe there's not enough flexibility or career progression or pay, maybe you just don't enjoy it, then maybe a career in tech is the place for you. And you're in luck, because in this video, I'm going to share with you one of the quickest ways you can break into the tech industry and work your way up to a six-figure income. Now, it's probably not a path you've considered before, but the good news is that this doesn't require any experience, nor does it require a degree. Meaning, with just a little bit of work, you'll already be qualified. Now, before I talk about that, why should you listen to anything I have to say? My entire 10+ year career has been in tech, in roles ranging from sales and marketing to product management and leadership positions. And I've also mentored a lot of folks throughout the years, so I've seen how career progression can happen and how salaries can grow over time. Short of it is, there's a lot of opportunity in tech with potential for high incomes. So the main question is, how do you get into tech in the first place? The easiest way is sales, or a sales-related role. You may also hear sales development manager or sales development rep. Now, everyone might have differing ideas of what it means to be in sales. Maybe some of you have good perceptions, you may have had some good experiences, but I'm also sure that there's a handful of you that have maybe less than savory descriptions of what it means to be in sales. But I want you to watch this entire video because I want to reframe our thinking on this, maybe in ways that you might not have thought of before. You have to think at the root of it, what is a salesperson really doing? Good salespeople are less about sales and they're more about consulting and solving problems. They're less about just pitching products and services and more about listening to the customers and what challenges they have. The eventual goal, of course, is to sell something, but it's not selling for the sake of selling. It's selling something that actually adds value to the customer in one of three ways: saves them time, saves them trouble, and saves them money. Ideally, all three. Now, much of what I'll mention going forward is related to B2B sales. That is business to business sales. That's because B2C, or business to consumer, is more relegated to traditional marketing and online channels. There just isn't as much of a need for personnel as it relates to face-to-face or company to direct customer interaction. All of that is a different skill set. Now, B2B sales is where you'll find the majority of the job demand out there in the market from tech companies. But why is there a lot of demand? For tech companies that sell to other companies, the sales maker is the face of the company to those customers. More importantly, they're the ones bringing in the money to the company. Without salespeople, the company would not survive. Second reason I believe is that sales is a very underrated job, especially for those that go to pursue a 4-year university degree. Sales isn't something that they're necessarily looking at. So there's a lot of supply of jobs like this in the market without the equivalent level of interest from the broader job seeker market, which means great opportunity for those that do have an interest in these roles. It also means that the barrier to entry is not nearly as high as many other roles. Truth be told, experience and degrees are not much of a requirement for any entry-level sales role. And even without experience and a degree, the income potential, even just starting out, can actually be quite good. But I'd encourage you to not think just in the short term. You should also consider that getting experience in tech sales is one of the most valuable experiences you can have for future career growth. From my observation, that's where a lot of people who end up being very successful in their careers start. And if you happen to be really good at sales and you happen to really enjoy it, the income potential is amongst the highest of any role at any company. You're looking at multiple six-figure salaries in some cases, depending on the company, the solution that you're selling, how successful you are in any given year. But if you end up not liking sales, that's okay. You move on to another role, but at least you have that really strong foundation that I think a lot of people end up missing in their careers. Now the question is, how do you get into tech sales? Well, there are plenty of ways, much of which involve being proactive, seeking out those opportunities, and networking. Maybe picking up a few skills or credentials here and there. But there's actually an easier and faster way to go about it that's a little bit more structured. There's a company I was made aware of earlier this year called Course Careers. Their main objective is to educate people on the foundational elements of tech sales to specifically prepare them for a tech sales role. And they offer the resources and pathways to land internships and full-time roles with tech companies that they partner with. Now, of course, you can apply to whatever company you want, but I did have a conversation with Troy, the founder of Course Careers. He puts in a ton of work, not only engaging with the students that are going through this program, but he also spends a lot of time working with other tech companies, building relationships whereby the people that go through this program, go through this course, and complete it successfully are offered priority and in some cases exclusivity when it comes to viewing job listings and interviewing for roles at those companies. This pathway, in my mind, is the biggest benefit, and of course it's the purpose of this, is that you go through this program. It's an education to job pipeline. And there's no ambiguity necessarily as to what you go into. You're going into tech sales. It's very specific. And the other companies that partner with Course Careers can see the quality of students that come out of this program, and they know that they're being trained specifically for this type of function. And now that you know that this is an education to job pipeline, you also want to think about comparing the cost of a program like this, which I'll mention here in just a moment. You want to compare the cost of going through this versus the financial cost and time invested of going through a traditional university four-year degree, where you would likely end up with around the same salary. This program is a tiny fraction of the cost and the time invested. The average total tuition cost of a four-year university degree is around $40,000 plus for in-state residents. And this is US based. For in-state residents, and almost triple that if you're out of state. And this is just tuition. It's not including the housing costs or any other miscellaneous expenses. Compare that to Course Careers, which is just $4.99. It's almost ridiculous that it's 98% less expensive than a degree, and the outcomes, maybe on average, are very similar. Want to hear even better news? It's even more affordable if you use the link in the description below, along with the coupon code that's been reserved for my audience that gives you $50 off of the cost of the program. And this is made possible with my affiliate partnership with Course Careers. It's something I strongly believe in as an alternative to education that would otherwise be, well, cost prohibitive, not possible for a lot of people in different financial circumstances. Money aside, you would finish this program in about 1 to 3 months is what it suggests. You can of course finish it sooner or finish it later depending on your other time commitments. But in that time of the program or even after, you'd be applying for internships for tech sales jobs and these are paid internships. You can actually more than easily offset the cost of this program. So it's a relatively low risk proposition, made even less risky because they do have an introductory free course that you can take. Now, as far as education goes, this is done completely online. It's self-paced. The material goes through teaching you sales concepts and terminology, a lot of the basics, how to uncover opportunities as a sales rep, how to talk to people, how to build those relationships, which by the way are useful skills no matter what role you're in. You'll also learn about some of the common tools and software that sales reps in the industry use. For example, you'll learn about Salesforce and HubSpot, both of which are CRM platforms or customer relationship management platforms. You'll learn about sales data software like LinkedIn Sales Navigator and Apollo. Scheduling software is also covered. This is going to go through all the fundamentals that you need to quickly jump into any entry sales role. Outside of the education and the career pathway, one of the other benefits and one of the things that I also really like about this program is the community aspect. When you sign up, there is a Discord server. It's if you're not familiar with Discord, it's just a social media platform where people can get in groups and chat amongst one another. But it's a platform that is filled with other students going through this program with the specific intent of landing a role in tech sales. From what I've seen, there's anywhere upwards of 100 people online and active at any given point in time. So there's a really robust community there. There's a lot of discussion, a lot of engagements, a lot of Q&A. People are willing to help one another out. And Troy, the founder of Course Careers, as I mentioned earlier, is also quite engaged on that platform. So there's a lot of that interaction going on as well to clarify maybe any of the concepts or to help one another land roles in tech sales. And when you're in an environment, and this is a virtual one of course, but you're in this group with other people that are going through the same program you are with the same goal as you're surrounded by like-minded people, your likelihood of success goes up dramatically. Now, the only thing that this program does not cover is specific technology solutions. Tech is very broad, obviously. There's a lot of technology solutions out there. To cover all of them, or even a subset of them, in any course would be quite difficult, especially when also trying to convey or get someone ramped up into sales. It would not only be time consuming to produce that content, but also time consuming to receive and consume the content. But again, with the foundation that you get from this program, at that point in time, you can just look at what technology solutions out there exist, which of them are perhaps most interesting to you that you made me want to learn a little bit more about, and then pursue opportunities with those companies that have the technology that you'd be most interested in. And of course, that helps to get a little bit up to speed and have some familiarity with that technology prior to an interview. I'd highly recommend that. But again, the purpose is you've got this sales knowledge now that you're taking into these companies, and these are companies in a lot of cases that are partnered with Course Careers, so they know what you're learning. Now, although this is probably one of the fastest pathways to get into tech, I do have to absolutely mention that there is no guarantee of a job. There's no guarantee of a job even if you go through a 4-year degree program. You just increase the likelihood that you will land an opportunity, but there's no guarantee. You still have to be proactive. You still have to put the work in. And this program is simply designed to fast track you into a specific role and potentially a career that you can grow into. But for more of my thoughts on sales as a career, I've got some other videos you can check out here above. Wherever I'm pointing, that's where I'm gonna have the video. But I'll go into a little bit more detail on how it's served me in my career and how I've seen it serve others in their careers and some of the benefits that you might not be thinking about. So make sure to check that out. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you around.